We're here in River Point in Limerick. The sun is shining and we're delighted to be joined by Carol Daly, who organised Metis Music for Mental Health. It's a very special day today. We're all gathered because you had a very significant cheque to hand over.
Absolutely, Meghann. We had version 3 of Music for Mental Health, Metis Music for Mental Health, back in January now. But we raised €18,600 on the night. Huge support from all the companies in Limerick. Many artists playing on the night. Support from Dolan's where they gave us the warehouse. So that seems like an age ago at this stage. And there was a bit of delay, obviously, getting monies together and collecting stuff with the COVID situation. But we got it all put to bed last week and we handed over 6,200 to each of Pieta House, Limerick Suicide Watch and Adapt Domestic Abuse Services. So look, very welcome in these times because it's been a difficult time obviously for lots of people. So delighted to be able to talk to you this morning and talk about that. The gig is a fantastic event. Usually when you hit kind of number three, you're kind of looking at these events and do they start to wane or whatever, but it was as strong as ever. And I'm thinking, depending on what's happening next year, it'll probably be even stronger because so many people are mad to get back to music events and live events and mingle with people because it hasn't been happening obviously for the last 3 months. But look at super event. I want to thank Metis Ireland, my former company, for sponsoring the event this year. They've been there at the helm for the last 3 years. I want to thank people like Cara O'Shea, John Daly, who are in behind the scenes helping me out. Obviously Dolan's Warehouse for giving us the place. People like yourselves in the Post have given us coverage along the way. I want to thank the 3 charities for the fantastic work they do. So Limerick Suicide Watch, Pieta House and Adapt Domestic Abuse, specifically this year. They're doing fantastic work behind the scenes. It goes on every day. You know, we only bring attention to it one day with this gig, but they're doing this day in, day out, and probably even more so in these difficult times has been needed. There is a bunch of companies that I just wanted to run through and thank. This wouldn't happen without their support and the monies that we raise, and because of the event on the night, we always have a great event with lots of people, you know, 350 people plus, and the companies bring their own staff, their own teams on the night as well. So not only do they support us financially, but they support us on the night with bringing the people along as well. So I have a list because I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget them. So excuse me for referring to notes. So I do want to thank Ingenium, Limerick Chamber, Hom Solicitors just here, CPL just down the road, O'Malley Griffin Insurances, Limerick Tutorial College, Cube Printing, Rigid Containers, Ernst & Young, Kirby Engineering, Action Point, Icon, and there's some individuals that have helped us as well all the way along, all the way along. Brendan Ring, Tom Tierney, Barry Lunn, Michael Fitzgerald, Roy Finucane, Stephen Keogh and Jerry Phelan. So look at all those people. A lot of those people have come back every year from the beginning to help us. So look at, thank them all. It wouldn't happen without them. And then last but not least, I do want to thank the artists. So again, we give the stage to young artists on the night. The idea is that, look at if you tie in mental health, so it's to raise awareness for mental health. It's to support local charities, but it's also to give a stage for local artists that are producing music day in, day out, and they struggle to get their work out there into the open and get people to see it. So we give them a stage for the night where they can come on, play in front of an audience of 300 people and do their stuff. So look, it's a great idea. I think it works very well, and hopefully we'll have many more of them to come. So I really appreciate you and your time, guys, this morning. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Carol Daly. Thanks, William. I'm now joined by Denise from Adapt. I know that the money raised for you on the night is going to be massively needed, especially now with everything that's happened. Can you tell me how the money will be utilised?
Sure, well I suppose the COVID, the pandemic hit us really badly in terms of our fundraising. Like we had to close our charity shop at the very start. Normally each year we have to raise about 200,000 just to keep all our services going. So our church gate collections were gone, our shop was gone. So we ended up with around 32% loss in our fundraising. So this couldn't come at a better time. So to actually have this money to put towards the operation of our services. So during the pandemic, our refuge stayed open. So we were busy. We continued. Our helpline was open. Our outreach service, we provided phone support. So all the services stayed open. But the funding wasn't there, the additional funding that we needed to keep all the services open. So really, this money that was raised is going towards that.
And I know a lot of people were talking during the whole coronavirus pandemic that domestic violence and abuse was up and that demands were out there. So I'm sure you were very tough on this charity trying to look after everyone.
Absolutely. And I think for the first week in March, our helplines spiked by about 50%. Then when the lockdown happened, we actually went very quiet. The helplines went really, really quiet. So the suspicion kind of nationally was that women couldn't seek help. They didn't have a safe space. Because if you think about it, for women, the home is not a safe place when there's domestic violence. So when they were locked down with their abuser. The children were locked in as well. Normally they can go to school, women can go to work, or even go out socially. So the time of the lockdown was the most dangerous time for them. So what we were hearing, the women who were coming forward, the abuse they were receiving was horrendous. So since the lockdown, since restrictions have started lifting, we have become really, really busy again.
And can you tell me about the shop? When is the shop open again? Or?
The shop opened, when on June 9th it opened. Now, what they say as well, the Irish charity shops are saying they don't expect the same kind of footfall until mid-2021.
Okay, wow.
So even though the shop has opened, obviously the profits are way down. But look, at least it's open, it's something, you know, and the community have been great. That's the one good thing, I suppose, that we noticed with the pandemic. We had loads of people offering support, doing bits of fundraising that they could do at home. So that was really, really helpful, but it was just a really difficult time, you know, and continues to be, and we still have to be very careful and very mindful and make sure that all our services are, you know, staff are returning to work gradually, slowly, and we're just making sure that everything is safe for the women and the kids in the refuge.
Denise, thanks so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show.
Okay, thanks a million, Meghann. Thank you.
I'm now joined by Lucy and Kevin from Limerick Suicide Watch. I know you have been very busy all through this, and especially the pandemic. I've seen you out every night, and it's been a really tough time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit mad. To start off with, we were very fortunate with the 5k lockdown distance. We weren't meeting as many people, so that was very fortunate for us. But as time's gone on now, we're starting to get a little bit bigger with the restrictions raising. But what we decided to do then is we bought a van a couple of months back, so we're using the van now as the community outreach programme. So we're going out into different communities, we're meeting different people. It just lets people know that we're there. So we've got our trained volunteers on board, and they're there for anybody to listen to. If anybody wants to come down and you've got any questions about what Limerick Suicide Watch does, or anything, any questions at all, we're there to answer it. And also it's about being visible in the community as well, and letting people that they're not on their own and that there is people there to listen to them as well.
And obviously with the lockdown and the restrictions, fundraising was completely slashed, and it was, you know, there was nothing that could be done. I'm sure the money raised at the Metis gig will help so much with what you're doing.
Oh, majorly, a big difference. Fundraising, it did continue, only small bits kind of here and there. There was a lot of online donations through different projects, like the 25 press-ups for 25 days. But the money will go a long way because of the outreach programme that we've introduced as well to the group. That will cost money to keep that going as well. And then as well, we're hoping to bring on some new volunteers in the next month. So to get all those new volunteers trained up, kitted, costs about €800 per volunteer. That's between getting them their uniform, their life vest, their throw bag, and then all the training then as well that we provide.
And if people want to get more information on LSW, maybe how they can volunteer or how they can maybe fundraise, where can they find you?
You can go to our Facebook page, which is Limerick Suicide Watch, our Instagram Limerick Suicide Watch, or you can go to our website, limericksuicidewatch.ie, and we also have the app there, and you can download the app, and it's got a number of services in and around Limerick City.
Lucy, Kevin from LSW, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show.
Thank you.
I'm now joined by Sinead from Metis, who have been the sponsors of the gig for 3 years now. Such a great night, and so good that we're finally here and able to hand over the cheques.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. I mean, the last 3 years we've been involved and sponsored the night. It's always been a great success. Fantastic again to see how much was raised this year. Really, it's all down to Carl Daly himself. He's fantastic. The amount of work, time and energy he puts into it each year is what makes it such a brilliant success. You know, helping to raise awareness for mental health, but also, of course, raising funds for such wonderful charities. Equally, I mean, we're incredibly grateful to all the different acts that every year, you know, share their talents, share their time, and often it's all on a voluntary basis. So we're very, very grateful to that. And then I suppose finally, obviously, it wouldn't be able to happen without all the companies and all the individuals who, you know, buy tickets for the night. When they're there, then donate more money, and it's really down to the wonderful community that we have here in Limerick that makes the night such a wonderful success. So, hopefully it'll continue on for the next few years, and we look forward to what happens in January 2021 and everybody get together and celebrate everything. So, yeah.
Hopefully now, as lockdown is getting lifted, have you all been working from home, or have you started to come back into the office now?
So we all started working from home on the 16th of March, and over the last month or so now, just kind of gradually coming back into the office. Still very much on a voluntary basis. Unfortunately, there's still the virus still around, so you're always going to have people with different levels of comfort. There's childcare issues too for some people, so it's kind of on a drip by drip basis. But it is lovely being able to get back into the office and being able to see everybody again and having a little bit of normality back. So it's been good.
It is, and thankfully the sun is shining for us today.
Yeah, I know, we're so lucky today. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning and a perfect morning for hanging around the river, and wouldn't mind sitting here for another hour.
Today, thanks so much for chatting to us.
No problem. Thanks very much, Meghann. Appreciate it.
Now joined by the man behind the music. You're the guy that gets the whole staging together. You're the one who is very busy on the night. John, can you tell us about your role with the gig?
Well, I suppose initially when Carl and myself met, he came to me and says, look, I need a guy who knows the business, because Carl was fresh to this. So I said, yeah, great. We're not related, by the way. Well, we are related distantly, because Carl's brother is married to my daughter, so there is dailies in the line. But when he came to me, I said, yeah, great, I'd love to do it. It was such a fantastic cause, and to me, that's my second home stage. So it wasn't a problem for me to arrange the stuff. The biggest problems on the night are logistical and technical problems. So if anything goes wrong, you just have to jump on the stage and say, where is he? But other than that, it was great. But it was just great to be part of the whole thing, because we've seen in the 3 years how it's just grown, and people have so accepted this, and it's so ironic, I suppose, that we didn't know at the time this is going to be, we were heading into a pandemic, but when we saw, what happened on the night and the amount of people that contributed, even people who weren't there contributed, which was fantastic as well. But, little did we know that we're going to be in lockdown for 3 or 4 months, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. I would hope that we'd be able to do some kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, the logistical things are just getting on stage, making sure all the leads are plugged in, all the plugs are plugged in, somebody's coming out to play something, there's no sound coming out, and they just look at you with a blank stare and I say, okay, miracle time.
Well, the one thing what I think is so great about the night is all the bands and artists are all volunteering their time, and as you said there is a change from a band to an artist, so there is instruments going around, there's drum kits, there's so much happening during that gig, because we have there's so many acts, so it's a very busy night for you.
It is very busy. If you have 7 or 8 acts, some are just 1 or 2, but then when you get the band on, that's when the fun starts. You have 5 guys on stage, they're all called at the same time, so that's where you need to be an octopus. You're just running around and you're just making sure, but most of the time it's run very smoothly. It's we haven't had any major disasters, which has been cool, but I think that's all down to the organisation and making sure that everything's set up before these people arrive. Getting people to sound check, that's always the tough part. Oh, can I come at such a time? No, everybody be here at this time, and that's the way it works. But they've been great, really have, and I can't say enough about the artists and travelling from long distances, some of them, which was incredible. Because I don't know if you see that in any other sector, how artists and how they're suffering at the moment is just unbelievable, and I really feel for them, so anything we can do to help people, help their profession, and help their futures, hopefully get them started in some way, because it's a new audience for a lot of them. And it's great to see such a big audience as well.
That's one thing I kind of want to touch on, was the gigs are probably going to be the last thing that we're actually going to see happening again. So as you said, it is such a tough time for those artists. They obviously are all on social media, they're performing for us on live videos and everything, but nothing beats being on stage for them and actually getting to perform in front of a crowd right there in front of them.
Well, that's where the adrenaline starts to flow, because you don't get that vibe when you're actually doing something online, and I've seen a few people doing stuff online. It's sad in a way that people have to go and perform online, and it's a lot of it is for free, and this free thing is it just doesn't work a lot of the time. Artists need to be paid, and I think when there's so many people posting for free, it just diminishes the value of the artists, and this is where we have to be very careful. Artists should be paid. A lot of these people have honed their skills over many years, and they want to get paid for what they do, and it's only right they should get paid. So I really hope this kind of comes out good at the other end,
Yeah.
you know, because we have a long road ahead of us, and I can't see anything happening for a long time, you know. I should mention, aside from Carol's thing, that Limerick Jazz Festival is going to run for 2 days.
Brilliant.
In September.
Super.
With live acts. So, you know, so I'm really trying to do my bit here for all the musicians, you know. We have lots of things lined up for that as well. So, yeah, I mean, look, the artist is definitely the last thing that's going to come back, you know, and we really have to think about that.
John Daly, I say we'll chat to you again for the Jazz Festival, but thanks so much for chatting to us today.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, guys.